Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the AJ Analysis channel. Apologies if you just heard my phone going off in the intro there. We're back with another live stream, and we are back talking about this lovely, lovely football club once again. Manchester United this weekend at home in the Premier League against Burnley. It's only Burnley, right? Can't lose to Burnley. Sentences that age like milk. First time back since the Grimsby game. How are we feeling about Manchester United Football Club? Who have we got in the chat today? We've got Milan. Good morning to you, my friend. We've got Steve. We've got David. We've got Callum. David, of course, as always, with the gifted membership before the stream even started. David, thank you very much, my friend. I also have the chat on the wrong settings, so I can't see everything. Let me just quickly switch that up. There we go. Now I can see the chat, so I want to hear from you guys in the chat. How are you feeling about Manchester United? The game against Grimsby was not the finest football match I have ever seen. It's not the greatest display that I have ever witnessed. Now it's Burnley, and we need a result, which is mental to be saying in game week 3, but we do need a win because the fixtures coming up after the international break are horrendous. They are very, very challenging indeed. So we could probably do with a result, and we need a performance as well. We need to be entertained. Let me just quickly check something because I think my chat is not working properly, which is not ideal. So let me just quickly get that fixed. I can see a channel membership, but I can't see who it is. Was it Kumaran? I think it was. Welcome to the community. Thank you very much for the support on the channel. Apologies that I couldn't see your name straight away. YouTube seems to be playing up. Guys, you know what to do. When you see gifted memberships, renewal of memberships, super chats, anything like that, spam the chat with some love hearts. I think it's just a matter of time if the players want it or not. Literally been a bad week for United. It's been a very bad week for Manchester United. Starting sort of last Sunday with the disappointing performance against Fulham, and it was really disappointing. It felt a lot like last season. Then we've had some transfer news throughout the week, particularly linked to someone like Kobbie Mainoo, which has not exactly inspired fans. It's not given the fans a connection with the club this week. So we've sort of detached a little bit, and then we had the Grimsby game, which was just something else. I don't know what that Grimsby game was. I don't understand what was going on there. It was absolutely terrible. And the post-game felt quite telling. To me, I said it yesterday in a video, to me it felt a little bit like the end of Ruben Amorim, which is crazy. He's only been here 9 months. But he looked defeated. He looked like he doesn't know what else to try. He looks like he's tried everything to try and get something out of the players, or to try and get it to work, to try and make United more successful. And in that particular moment, of course, very emotional after the defeat. You know, it wasn't the happy, confident, often calm Ruben Amorim. It was a little bit defeated. The body language was weird. It didn't look great to me. And obviously that doesn't send a great message to the squad. But I also can't blame him because it was an absolutely horrific performance, and it's been pretty bad for 9 months now, so I don't blame him for that. It'll be a hard game this weekend. To tell the truth, I think any game of football right now will be difficult for United. Not because I think we're bad. You know, I think we've got some great players still. But they're all humans. It's an incredibly psychological sport. And it's too early in the season for this, but we are already at a point where everyone must look at us and go, if we get at them, we can probably rattle them a little bit early on. We can make them nervous. We can make Old Trafford a little bit nervous and sort of build on that. It feels far too early in the season to be saying that. The good thing is there's loads of time to turn it around. You know, we have got literally a full campaign to turn things around and be good by the end of the season and have a good season. We can still do that. But just right now, it feels like it's sort of backs to the wall and just fighting. 4 weeks in, it's not great. It's not ideal. Confidence is in the mud. Yeah, we sort of had a positive preseason, didn't we? Not necessarily loads of amazing results, but some bright performances, some bright attacking play, some good energy in the team, some good intensity. We saw a lot of the team off the pitch, the team building exercises, if you liked, the gelling of the squad, the chemistry off the pitch, which obviously helps on the pitch as well. The culture around Manchester United seemed a lot better over the summer. But so quickly we've we seem to have lost any momentum we gained in the summer. Of course, we will still be a better team this year than last year. I still believe that because we've got better footballers. You know, Cunha and Mbumo. Mbumo showed his quality the other night with the goal. Not so much the second penalty. But it does feel like we've quickly lost some confidence. So we need to try and find some. And Burnley is a good place to start. You know, Burnley at Old Trafford is a good game to pick. If there's a team that United probably can go beat, yeah, it's Burnley. This is a chance to win. We've got James in the chat with the super chat. James, thank you very much, my friend, for the support. Very kind of you. Let's see if Brighton will sell Baleba if we loan Cobby. Yeah, do we talk about the Cobby situation today, or do we leave it? I'm not sure. Baleba, yeah. Maybe there's some money at the club. You know, Garnacho's gone. Rasmus looks very close to leaving as well. Maybe there's some money floating about that we can do something before the end of the window. It's still expected that we'll sign a goalkeeper. We still need a midfielder. You know, no matter who the manager is, no matter who the coach is, or what the system is, we need a midfielder. We know that. So yeah, maybe we can try a hand. Maybe we can try get someone. But James, thank you very much for the super chat, my friend. Losing to a 4th division team, the coach isn't a problem. It's a weird one. I said this in my video yesterday. I'm very torn because in one moment I agree, you know, that we should just go beat Grimsby. But I actually also think tactically they set up very well to stop us, and we didn't have an answer to that, which does come down to the coach as well. We were nullified tactically, and this is why I was talking about yesterday Amorim being a pattern-based manager. When teams shut off those patterns, players seem to lack personality. But I don't think that should be the case because I think we've got a lot of personality in the squad, and I think that's the style of coach that we've got. Not necessarily saying whether it's right or wrong. I'm not saying it's good or bad coaching, but you can see in those games where tactically we can't find an advantage or an overload or something like that, or we can't use one of our exact patterns, we don't seem to be able to play off the cuff, or we don't seem to be able to problem solve, which is a bit of a problem when we are talking about Grimsby. So in a way, I agree it's on the players, but I also think the players have to be given that license to play in that way. And I'm not sure that they are just now. Hated Cunha's penalty. Just pick a spot and smash it there. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Penalties are such a weird thing. I'm not going to pick up on it too much, but it wasn't a great one, was it? It was not great. There were a few in that game, though. Like, Onana should have saved several, if we're being real. Baleba won't save us. He's a very good player. He's a very good player, Baleba. Struggling at the start of the season. I think he had a bit of an injury in pre-season, which meant that he missed most of it. So he's not sharp yet. He's not up to speed. But he also doesn't fix United because, you know, this is more than a one-player fix. There's board issues still, it seems. There's system issues. There's player issues. There's a lot. The team must be more aggressive. There was practically no press against Grimsby. This is my point that I keep making, and I will go back to it time and time again. We're not the Manchester United of old. I get it. But for me, Manchester United Football Club, particularly when we're talking about a Grimsby, a Burnley, a Sunderland, a Derby County, whoever, United should be the team asking questions. And it didn't feel like we did that the other night. It felt like we sort of sat there and let Grimsby come on to us rather than going and attacking them. I think Grimsby caught us by surprise a little bit. But it's been a problem for a long time. I understand we can't do it against every team. City are better than us. Arsenal are better than us. Liverpool are better than us. So in those games, it's a little bit different. But I certainly think 60% of the Premier League, and particularly a Division 4 team, we should be on the front foot. We should be asking the questions. And that's what we're not doing right now. We're not doing it. Elliot Addison, does he suit the system? I think he would. I think he's got sort of like the good mobility that's needed in this formation in midfield. I think he does. I don't know that he's necessarily the perfect partner for what we've got currently, though. He strikes me as a 3-man midfield sort of player, but I think he's got the ability to do it in a 2 as well. Good morning, Steve. How are you? Joe, good morning to you, my friend. You think Amorim might change formation after the interview for this game forward? I don't know. The interview is weird, isn't it? What do we take from it? What do we take from it? When he said the players spoke a lot, some people see that as the players made it clear they don't want to play in a back 3 or whatever. Some saw it as he doesn't want to be here anymore. It's difficult. I personally don't get the impression that it's suddenly going to be a back 4, but I've been wrong before. I would be a little bit surprised if he changed. I think he'll stick with a 3. And again, we should make it clear, 3-4-3 isn't the overall problem. There's bigger problems at this football club than playing a certain formation. It's ideas, it's things like that. But anyway, as Steve said in the chat, let's be positive. And he backed it up by gifting 5 memberships. Steve, thank you very, very much, my friend. That's very kind of you. Guys, first of all, like Ryan and Steve, if you see gifted memberships or anything like that in the chat, you spam that chat with some love. If you did get a gifted membership, make sure to say thank you. And Steve, I shall say thank you. Thank you very much for the support. And like you said, let's try and be positive about this football club. Let's get on the front foot. Let's get talking about Manchester United setting up this weekend against Burnley Football Club. First of all, the goalkeeper. We're trying to be positive, guys. We're trying to be positive. I don't think we'll have a new goalkeeper by Sunday, but by Saturday. It's tomorrow, isn't it? I don't think we'll have a new goalkeeper in place ready to start by 3 p.m. tomorrow. So it's going to be one of these 3. Which of these 3 do you want it to be? Oh, I really want to start on a positive, but the goalkeeper situation is not good, is it? We've had Altay Bayındır made a mistake, 17 minutes, was it, into the Arsenal game? Something like that. And then Onana comes in for his first start and drops 2 clangers and is also poor in a shootout. Not ideal. Honestly, I don't want to see Onana for this game. I think the other night was maybe the final straw for me a little bit with Onana. I actually like him, or have liked him. Let's go past tense now. I still think there's a good goalkeeper there. But you can't come in for your first opportunity to prove that you should be playing for United and drop that performance. You can't do it, Andre. You can't. So it's Bayındır or Heaton for me. I don't want to see Onana. The problem with Onana is that the second the ball is anywhere near like the stadium that we're in, you feel a little bit nervous. That's the feeling Onana gives right now. And if we're talking about mentality, confidence, trying to build momentum, we need someone that we can somewhat trust at the back. And Onana isn't that man. The question is, are the other 2? Bayındır and Heaton? What do we think? Bayındır seems to be... Oh, I don't know. We might need a poll for this one. We've done more goalkeeper polls in the last 10 days than we have in the last 2 years of streaming. I am confident of that. I'm going to go, but you know what? I will put Onana in the goal. In the goal. I'm not doing that. I'll put him in the poll. Let me whack him in there. Bayındır, Onana, Heaton. Bosh. There we go. Does it look like we're getting Senna Le Mans before the end of the window? Not too sure anymore. Not too sure. Is it going to happen? Honestly, AJ, I'm Amorim in, but those Glasner links... I haven't seen the Glasner links, personally. I saw someone mention it in Discord. Steve, you said his name, didn't you? I haven't seen any... I haven't seen a source saying it. Perhaps that's just me being ignorant. I just haven't seen it. Be a weird one. I don't know that it's a change I would make. I think his football is really suited to like a mid-table side. Be interesting to see if he could make that jump to the next level. I would hazard a guess that perhaps not right now, not immediately, but who knows. Onana is sus. Valid. Onana is a nervous wreck. Valid. Bayındır is better with the ball. Bayındır has had some good distribution. I think his distribution has been really good at the start of the season, Bayındır. Normally, probably where I'm most critical is his distribution, because I think his leaves a lot to be desired sometimes. But I think he started the season well with the ball at his feet. We got a super chat in the chat from Steve Brooks. Steve, thank you very much, my friend, saying good morning, AJ. Look at the numbers, they don't lie. Look at unforced errors, etc. Pre-Onana and post-Onana. A video maybe. Ooh, are you talking about unforced errors from the goalkeeper, or are you talking about them in terms of the defence in front? Are you suggesting that Onana's influence on the team, sort of his lack of confidence, and the team's lack of confidence in him, is potentially leading to errors? Because you're right, there might be a video in that. There might just be a video in that. But regardless, whether there's a video or not, thank you very much for the super chat, my friend. Very kind of you. The poll at the moment is 53% Tom Heaton. I guess the question with the Heaton discussion is, would Amorim actually do it? And I don't just mean Amorim in particular, I mean any manager. I can't imagine a manager having 3 fit goalkeepers, no injuries occur, and playing 3 different keepers in 4 games. That seems a little bit just unlikely to me. I would expect Bayındır to start this football match. I think I put him in the thumbnail. I'd expect him to play. I'm by far his biggest fan. You know, I think... But wait, I meant to say I'm not his biggest fan. I meant to say I'm not his biggest fan. I am not by end his biggest fan. But I probably would go with him over Onana and probably Heaton just for the sake of not constantly changing it. The big problem with by India is the set pieces. The set pieces are a real issue for us at the moment. That's why majority isn't always right. Very true, very true. This club needs a clear leader. No one is taking that role, and we need a strong. See, I think someone like Amorim is quite a strong leader. I think he is. I didn't like the penalties. I didn't like his body language. You know, each to their own. We all have different styles of doing things, whatever. But I didn't like the way he was on the side in a dugout, sort of hiding a little bit. For me, it should be a united front on a penalty shootout. You know, you should be lined up with your coaches, your subs on the touchline. Didn't like that. But apart from that, I think he's a good leader. I think he inspires well. I think he's a good man manager largely. Did I see another super chat? I did. Thank you very much, my friend, saying hi. This is my first super chat, I think. And I was just gifted a membership by Steve. And I just want to say thanks. Let's beat Burnley. Well, thank you very much for the super chat, my friend. That's very kind of you. And yeah, welcome. Enjoy the rest of the stream. And you're right. Let's beat Burnley. You guys are gone for Heaton in goal. So I will put him in goal. But we might come back and change it towards the end. Because I don't know if it's very likely. But we'll put Tom Heaton in goal as you guys have voted for Tom Heaton. So Tom Heaton goes into net. It's our third goalkeeper in 4 games. Perhaps showing the problem in terms of instability at United right now. Anyway, we move into the back 3 to talk about centre-backs. This lovely area over here. We call them centre-backs. Sometimes it's full-backs in there as well. Wide centre-backs, central centre-back. There's a few different conversations to have. Harry Maguire is an option. I can't seem to drag players today. Probably the best penalty taker in football history. He is an option. Matthijs de Ligt had a good start to the season. Aiden Heaven, Luke Shaw, Lenny Yoro. Why can't I grab these players? I'm losing my mind a bit. Fredrickson. And I'm going to keep putting him there for the conversation, particularly now we saw him there second half the other night. Diogo Dalot. There we go. I agree, but if we can all crash out, let him have a moment too. Yeah, that's why I don't blame him massively, because I didn't like it. I don't like that on the shootout. I think he should be there. But it's why I actually am trying not to read too much into the post-match interview, because I think everyone had head loss. I expect the manager to have a bit of head loss as well. Like, he is a human. We sort of put these guys on pedestals, but they're humans at the end of the day. They're just like us. So he'd have been mad as well. We got another super chat in the chat. Thank you very much. Saying Mbumo, right wing back. Mount and Cunha at 10. Shesko at 9. Now, my friend, first of all, thank you very much for the super chat. I think you're going to get some backlash for saying Mbumo right wing back, but I'm going to be on your side and try and defend it and try and explain it a little bit later on. So thank you very much for the super chat, and it's a good point that we will come back onto shortly. I think Shesko up front will be an interesting one just because of the cramp that he seemed to experience the other night. Wonder if we then protect him this weekend, being a young player, still learning. Not sure, we'll see. All right, let's have a look at some of these back threes. Thoughts on the Stuttgart manager? I don't know anything about him, to be honest. Right, so from left to right, we've got De Ligt, Maguire, Yoro. No Heaven, please. Shaw at wing-back. Different option, more of an attacking threat, you would assume, than Dorgu at times. But has he got the energy, the engine, the fitness for it? I'm not sure. Yoro, De Ligt, Shaw. Probably been our best back three so far this season. Yoro, De Ligt, Shaw again. Yoro, De Ligt, Shaw. Maguire, Yoro, De Ligt. Yes, I am a madman, but I think it's a solid foundation to create transitions from and grind a W. It's a weird one. Don't take this the wrong way. Obviously, we want to win the football match. And it's too early to be asking this question. But how much value do you guys put on getting a win this weekend? Because, like Steve has said there, for example, we could go with 3 proper centre-backs. Yoro, Maguire, De Ligt. We could get 2 full-backs at wing-back. We could go back to basics. We could tighten up, be compact, and then express ourselves on the ball. We could do that. Would you be happy with that approach if it means we win 1-0? Or would you rather see, a fullback in the back 3, attacking wing-backs, get at the other team, but then maybe we drop points? What would you actually take there? Is it just win at all costs? Are we at that stage already? Or is it a case of early in the season, the short-term result and points almost don't matter, it's about building for the long term? Where are you at this moment? I'd like to hear what you guys think. I think late in the season, it's all about results. It gets to May. I don't care if the football's sustainable, just win. We need points. At this stage of the season, is it more about building, long term? Let me know what you think. Absolutely lashing it down with rain outside. Very random. It's not been like that the last few days. Do you think we are okay in the centre-back area? I think we're okay for now. I think next summer, we'll be looking at it, and I think we will need players, potentially in the middle, and potentially in one of the wide spots as well, depending on, like, Luke Shaw's fitness in 12 months, Lisandro Martinez, players like that, I think next summer we will be looking at it. Build for long term. Winning is necessary for player confidence. See, this is where it's really tricky, right? It's very, very tricky. Because is it too early in the season just to be grinding out results, or is that what we desperately need right now? It's a tough one. We need 3 points on the board. Then the plan B can be plotted during the international break. Yep, fair point. I think the international break coming up does also make it a different conversation to normal as well. It's not like we then play again Wednesday and Saturday and Wednesday. The fact that we do then get a break, a reset point where anything could happen, anything. How are you not Amorim out? I'm in a very similar position to what I was with Ten Hag last year and the year before. I don't think the manager has done anywhere near enough. I outright think the manager has done a bad job. I think Amorim's been bad. I think he's been bad at United. I think he's made us worse in some areas, a few areas. But I won't be a manager out until I know who I would want to replace them. It's all well and good going get rid of Amorim, but if I couldn't tell you who I think should replace him, that wouldn't be a great opinion coming from me, right? If I can't tell you the better option, why'd you get rid? As of yet, I haven't done the research. I haven't done the research on Eddie Howe or Xavi or the Stuttgart manager or the Bournemouth manager or anyone. So I can't say manager out because I can't tell you who I would want to replace them, which just feels a bit silly. And in terms of discussing new managers and who I would want, again, that would not happen until this manager was gone. We had the same approach with Ten Hag. Respect the manager while he's here. If he was to go, then we jump on it and talk about replacements. Oli sacked and Mourinho sacked. Ten Hag tomorrow, then we bring them all together for one super manager, which could go horribly. I like it. No, we need to win. Can you remember the last time we won back-to-back games? We need to start winning at all costs. Yeah, I just thought it'd be interesting to discuss in terms of what you guys value more at the moment. Like I said, typically in May, we talk about that as like must-win time. You just got to get the trophy or you just got to get into the top 4. Whereas at the start of the season, I think you're looking for more longevity. But we're in a weird situation. We are in a weird situation. In terms of the back 3, what I'm seeing in the chat, it seems to me even, that this is a fairly popular choice. I will come back to something that I would like to see United try a little bit later. Next, we'll go... Do we go wing backs or do we go midfield? Wing backs or midfield? Ooh, what do we reckon here? Where do we go next? Wing back or midfield? What, you didn't research another manager 9 days into the season? Are you a part-timer? Honestly, right now. The poor guy who hasn't cut his hair until United win 5 games in a row? Yeah, I mean, poor fella. What's he signed himself up for there? This is a team that still needs work, defence and midfield, but even Amorim said he needs to win some. Absolutely right. Realistically, a lot of people have... Let's just talk about a system for a second. A lot of people have an issue with a 3-4-3 and they hate it. It can never work in football. If we were winning every week, I know it's a big if, but suddenly the manager, people wouldn't be talking about it. People wouldn't be talking about Amorim hiding in the shootout if we beat Arsenal, beat Fulham, won the shootout. People wouldn't be talking about Amorim hiding. It'd be like, that's a little bit weird. But, it wouldn't be a big deal. Amorim with his little tactics board. If we had beat Arsenal and beat Fulham, no one would care about Amorim with his little tactics board. Because we're losing, it's a problem. It's a manager with a tactics board. Well, of course he's got a tactics board. Like, they've got hundreds of them. It's all well and good when you win, and when you lose, and everything's a problem. And that's how it is a little bit at the moment for poor old Ruben. Honestly, AJ, I've spent the whole morning looking at replacements, and I have found something interesting. Apparently, Glasner has fell out with the board. Yeah, I believe he's not been happy with the lack of backing at Crystal Palace. I think he wanted more in terms of recruitment and just hasn't gotten anything. Losing Eze, probably going to lose Guehi. Yeah, it's been a tough summer for Crystal Palace, but they've got a good team. As long as they keep hold of Wharton, Mateta, which I think they will now, they'll probably be all right, but they do need something. They do need something still. Anyway, I think we're going to go with wing backs next. Options: Dalot, Ahmad, Dorgu. I think Mazraoui is still out. Diego Leon. A little bit surprised not to see him get any time the other night. I guess it makes sense because of how the game went. You know, at 2-0 down, it's not the time to bring him on because it's the wrong environment. But I think he could have started the game, personally. How do they do so good with other teams and come to United and are terrible? I don't understand. Yeah, I think we've all got to the point where it's just like, that's some of the other reason I'm not even Amorim out, just because emotionally, with regards to United, I'm just confused. Like, a lot of what Amorim has struggled with is stuff that we said he would struggle with. I went back the other day and watched some of my initial videos when Amorim came in, and a couple of them have aged quite nicely in terms of a couple of things that we were worried about in terms of the system. But having said that, it does just feel like, it feels like the impossible job. Chad keeps saying it in Discord. It's the impossible job right now. It's how the England job was viewed for so long, and probably still is to an extent. You got to win everything, if not, it's a complete failure. And, you know, this is not a United, it's not a football club that wins everything anymore. I will put Mbeumo into the conversation because of a conversation I want to have later. Mbeumo will come in. I also maybe want to do a video here as well. Wingbacks are poor. Yeah, so the idea for me would be, let's get at least one attacking wing-back on the pitch, because as I always say, we do not need 5 defenders against Burnley. Let's attack teams. Let's ask questions. Let's go on the front foot. To get on the front foot, you don't play 5 defenders, right? Try and be aggressive if we can. So can at least one of the wing-backs be attacking? I would like it. But what wing-backs? That's the question. Realistically, I would be very, very surprised if Diego Leon comes into the team for this match. If he didn't play Grimsby, I don't think he'll play this one. Right wing-back. What do we reckon? What do we reckon? Under pressure. Right wing-back. Who are we going for? I might run a little poll here. Now, I don't think Dalot's going to do too well here today. I'm a fan of Dalot. I don't mind him as a player. Quite like him. But he was terrible the other night. He's not the only one. Ahmad was terrible. Dorgu was terrible. Yes, that's most of our wing-back options, unfortunately. Poll now in the chat. There you go, my friends. Ahmad was surprisingly poor. Yeah, I don't think he's had a great start to the season, Ahmad, but you know, he's still a good player. I think he almost needs to get back to what he was doing last year. I think he's struggling with that at the moment. We are struggling with that blend between Ahmad and Mbeumo. It's not clicking yet, but it was always unlikely to after 3 games, right? It's going to take time. Ahmad needs a break. He's been horrible. Fair. Let's try something different. So I go Mbeumo. Mbeumo is currently winning the poll, so people are agreeing with you. Would you consider switching the wingbacks to get width at Old Trafford? Problem is, in terms of getting the width, Dorgu is left-footed. So if he was to play on the right, again, he would be someone that comes inside. So I don't know that it would give us a load of width on the right suddenly. AJ, why can't Dalot cross the ball first time? I don't know. Dalot, I think he's quite a complete player. Honestly, I do. His concentration is terrible. But I think he's quite a complete player in terms of stuff he can do. He doesn't always do it, but he can do it. Crossing, though, no. The boy can't cross. The boy cannot cross. Certainly not consistently. Ahmad and Mbeumo is like Mbappe in the Vinicius situation. Yeah, I see that. Like a balance. Dalot and Mbeumo for me, wrong-footed boys to hit the channels early. Let me just mute my phone because it's going off like mental. Maybe I am just so popular. It was my mum. I hope she's not watching this because I just muted her. That's not going to go down well. Yeah, Dalot and Mbeumo for me, wrong-foot boys to hit the channels. So let's quickly just have a brief conversation about Burnley. I watched back their Spurs game. And what they did against Spurs was slightly different to what they did against Sunderland. So against Sunderland, it was more attacking. It was more of a 4-2-3-1 with Brun Larsen on the right-hand side. But for the other game against Spurs, they brought in more of a wing-back profile. And what they did in that game against Spurs was sort of shifted between two shapes. So in one moment, the wing-back would come up and they pressed in like a 4-4-2 with Hannibal, United Academy graduate, moving into a front two. And they sort of went 4-4-2 like this. And then they became more passive. The wing-back would start dropping into the 5. Hannibal would drop into a 4, and they became more of a 5-4-1, and that's when Spurs got control. So they were never aggressive in their press, but they were sort of like high blocking in a 4-4-2, and then once the high block was beat, the mid block was more 5-4-1. So there is potential for United to have some dominance in this game, unless Burnley go, lads, it's United, we can get after them. It'd be interesting to see how they approach it. I think I missed a super chat. I did! Guys. Have we seen the super chat? Have we seen the super chat? And have we seen the badge of Train God 45? First of all, thank you very much for the super chat, my friend. He said, put this £2 towards a new midfield, up the Mariners. Just look at his logo. Look at his badge. Thank you very much for the super chat, my friend. I hope you had a great night. That shootout, when it's missed, must have been a mental moment for you. I hope you had a good time. Have you got any more money for midfielders? Don't send it to me. Send it to United, because yes, we're in trouble. You saw that firsthand. Guys, should we all send two quid? Should we all send £2 to United to try and buy a midfielder? Try and fix the problem. But regardless, thank you very much for the super chat, my friend. And like I said, I hope you enjoyed the game. What is the best part about our team currently, AJ? Ooh, do you mean as a systematic thing, a tactical thing, or as an individual thing? As an individual thing, we've got some seriously gifted footballers. Some young ones as well. Yoro, Ahmad, Kobe, who I can't find right now. We've obviously got quality in Bruno, Cunha, and Boomer. Got a good foundation now. Good morning, Chad, my friend. How are you, mate? Lads, it's United. That's crazy. But honestly, I bet teams are starting to do it a little bit. I bet teams are starting to feel it a little bit. Okay, so the poll... Okay, the poll is tight. It's 45% Ahmad right wing back, 45% Mbumo right wing back. Let's have a look. If you want to have your say on this one... Sorry, I'm just getting rid of some notifications. If you want to have your say on this one, use the poll in the chat. It's very close. Who would you like at right wing back this weekend? Ahmad did not play particularly well in midweek, so is it time to try something different with Mbumo? And we can shift the balance of the squad a little bit, which I'll talk about shortly. Or no? What do you reckon? Currently, it's moving towards Ahmad. 47% for Ahmad to start as the right wing back in this football match. The starting defence is pretty good, minus the goalkeeper. Everything else is just a mess at the moment. Valid. As in the units, the defence, the attack, or the midfield. I like the front three. I think the new front three is good. I think we need different profiles around them to help them. Not necessarily new forwards, I don't mean, but we need midfielders to help the forwards, defenders to help the forwards. But I think the front three is good. I like the front three. I don't like the midfield. The back three, I actually think these are three good players here. I quite like this back three. I think the box defence is just slightly concerning because Shaw isn't a centre-back. De Ligt has concentration issues. Yoro is not established in his box defence yet. So that's my concern there. But I do quite like the back three. These three individuals, I think they're quite good. Anyway, the poll, it's gone 48% Ahmad. Like, he's won that quite comfortably in the end. Okay, we go Ahmad. Ahmad on the right-hand side. We will come back to this, though, because there are a couple of points that I want to make when we've got an 11 on the screen. So Dallo is going to go out, and as is Mbumo for now. Midfield. Casemiro. Ugarte. Kobe. Bruno. That's it. Mount, maybe. Maybe. That's it. And I was looking at it this morning, right? I was looking at it this morning. You guys know me. I've wanted new midfielders at this club for a long time. Last summer I wanted 2. We got just Ugarte. This summer I wanted 2. So far we've got 0. I have a problem. Ugarte, how do we say this nicely? I don't think he's quite the quality that we need as a starting Manchester United midfielder. And particularly right now, his form is poor and his confidence is shot. Not ideal. Then you got Casemiro, who doesn't have the legs to play in a midfield too. And doesn't seem to be able to play more than 65 minutes, really. Not ideal. Then we've got Bruno. Great footballer. Phenomenal footballer. But is he really a double pivot player? Not convinced. You see what I mean? We're sort of like, what have we got in midfield? Obviously, we've got Kobe. First of all, slightly out of favour with Amorim at the moment, it seems. But even he, I don't know that he's a double pivot specialist. You know, I think he is more suited to a 3-man midfield. You know, if we were being picky and had to pick the ideal formation for him, I think it'd be 3 in midfield. There is an argument, a genuine argument, that we do not have a player suited to Amorim's idea in the 3-4-3. Not even in the 3-4-3, the way that Amorim wants to play. There's an argument that we don't have a midfielder that suits it. And we're talking about an area here, the midfield, which is often regarded as the engine room, the hub of the team. Win the midfield battle and you've got a great chance of winning the football match. The transfer window ends in 2 days. Is it 3 days? I don't know when it is. I don't care. But the transfer window could end in a few days, and we're sitting there going, we don't actually have a midfielder who we really are confident in saying he suits the system. We got Bruno, who, if he adapted a little bit, could. Kobe, if he could improve in certain areas, could. Ugarte, if he could build his confidence, maybe. Casemiro, if he was 30 years younger, possibly. But there's an argument that we don't actually have a midfielder that we go, he's got to start in midfield. That's a problem. Look at every other good football team on the planet right now, and you can name one of them that's going to play in midfield. And you are confident that they should be playing there. We don't have that. I was just thinking about this morning, because it's the one position that I would really prioritise. We just don't have much there. We just don't have much there. It's a bit of a problem. It's a bit of a problem. Is AJ agreed? None of our midfielders is suited. None of them feel, they all feel like they could rather than they should. Damn, maybe that's what it is. They all feel like they could do it rather than, yes, they should. That suits them. That's going to get the best out of them. That's how they are best suited to playing for this football club. That's the problem I got right now. None of them quite are right. So every week we are just trying to make up 2 not quite right players that are just not quite as not right as the rest of them. Cool. Ideal squad building. It's a problem though, right? It is a problem. And I don't know how we address it without signing someone or tweaking something tactically, how we set up. I don't know. There's different solutions out there. What one will we choose? What path will we go down? I don't know. But it's just something that has been on my mind. Anyway, I'm going to shut up and pass it over to you guys for a moment. After saying none of them are quite right, I now want you to pick 2 of them to start this weekend against Burnley. Which duo would you go for in midfield to win this football match against Burnley? And I'm going to have a drink whilst you guys are having your say in the chat. Give me a reason as well. Very few midfielders fit a double pivot in this system. That's a tactical issue on Amorim's part. Yeah. I get it, right? We brought in a manager to bring his ideas. We got Amorim because he was good at Sporting. So therefore you want what he did at Sporting. Right? But perhaps that mindset, that philosophy, the way that Amorim literally played at Sporting, perhaps it only works in a weaker league where you've got the best team. You know, maybe when you don't have the best team, United, and you're not in a weak league, Premier League, maybe you need to change something. I always feel that a manager's job is to get the best out of what he's got and to improve them. You know, to coach them on the training pitch, to improve them as footballers. And then at the weekend, to find the best way to get them all to come together to have the best chance of winning the football matches week in, week out. That's sort of how I view a manager's job. Perhaps it's quite a basic way of viewing it, but it's how I see it. I think it's how it should be. And I don't think we're doing that at the moment, which is what annoys me. It's what annoys me. I don't think we're getting the best out of these players. There's an argument right now to have 2 ideal midfielders in this system. We need to sign 2. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. So surely someone has to give at some point. Surely. We will buy a midfielder by the weekend. We need to, mate. We need to. Did Sporting have the best team? I think they had up there with the best. They were certainly top 3, right? Or they were top 2. Whereas again, you wouldn't make that argument about United. Not necessarily in his first season at Sporting, but certainly by the end. He was a strong team in a weak league, right? He was a big fish in a small pond. Did a phenomenal job along the way, though. Need to make that clear. And punch my mic, apparently. Sorry, man. He has to go. This is legit pain. Why do we need to buy a midfielder to beat Burnley? Yeah, of course, I'm not saying, signing midfielders is the only way of beating Burnley. When I've just had that little waffle session, I'm talking about the bigger picture, long term, the rest of this season, next year, longevity, 3 years under Ruben Amorim. It's just how things are playing out in my head a little bit at the moment. I'm a midfield person. Midfielders are my favourite players. Apart from a dribbly winger, I love a midfielder. And we don't seem to be making the most of that part of the pitch at the moment. And I think particularly in English football, historically, it's always been so important. But realistically, anywhere in the world, the Spanish put a big emphasis on midfield play. And I think United are struggling there, unfortunately. I think we'll see Bruno and Mainu. I think he'll go for Bruno. I'd be surprised if he didn't. So it's not going to be Bruno and Mount, because he admitted the other day that didn't really quite work how he wanted it to. So it's who plays next to Bruno here. And if I'm in Amorim's mind right now, if I'm thinking like I've got my Ruben head on, I think he'd go Casemiro. I think he's the player that he feels that he can trust. Perhaps that's because of his experience, his work rate. I don't know. I just feel like when in trouble, when he needs something, these are the 2 that he sort of falls back on. These are trusty, reliable. In Amorim's head, I think. Perhaps a different manager would look at it differently. Perhaps if we were in a different place as a football team right now, we'd look at it differently. But I think this is how Amorim feels. He'll feel that if he wants a result, you play players that will have an impact. We often talk about football matches being won in the box. Over here and over here. Well, Casemiro is good in both boxes. He's good at attacking set pieces. He's good at defending them. Bruno Fernandes is excellent at creating chances, will give you magic, and will also work hard off the ball. So I think if he wants a result, he'll go for these 2. Casemiro is most reliable. I think that's how he feels. Amorim is an angry and emotional guy. I think he'll change it up to prove a point. Possibly. Most great system managers have set principles rather than a predefined system. With Amorim, it feels like it's the other way around, and I don't really get it. That's my problem. That is my problem. It's, suggesting moving away from the 3-4-3 shouldn't even be a big deal. Like, it should just be natural. Like, the formation, again, isn't the biggest thing. It's the intentions. It's how we want to play. Whereas Amorim, it does feel like, this is our formation. This is what we need to do. I think, Pep is someone who's been sometimes a 4-2-3-1, sometimes a 4-3-3. It's been slightly flexible between the 2. Sometimes he'll have super wide wingers. Sometimes he'll have super narrow wingers. Sometimes his fullbacks will overlap one season. The next season they'll be inverted. And, that's the system changing. But the principles, how Pep wants them to play football, hasn't really changed that much. I think it's evolved over time. I think at the moment they're playing a bit quicker, for example. But you know what I'm saying? It should be more about principles and ideas and style of play and things like that, rather than what shape are we. He was brought to the club for his 3-4-3. Moving away from it is a big deal. It is, but I think that in itself is a problem. In my eyes, Amorim shouldn't be brought to United for his 3-4-3. He should be brought to United for his coaching methods, his way of playing football, his ability to get results, things like that. It shouldn't be dependent on the shape, in my opinion. That's just how I view management. We all view it differently, but that's just how I view it. We'll be here again with a Burnley win on Saturday. Well, I hope not, my friend. I hope not. I hope not. I'm actually a little bit lucky. I'm missing the game. I can't watch it live because I'm busy. So I'm probably going to watch it back Saturday night and give you guys the video Sunday morning. So first of all, heads up, it will be a little bit late. Apologies for that. But I don't know whether to avoid the scoreline or not. If I know we lose, I can just remove emotional attachment from it and just watch it and be like, okay, cool. I'm sort of prepared for it. But then that takes away the joy from if we win because I know the goals are coming. So I don't know whether to avoid the scoreline or not. I'm a little bit undecided. Your principle as a manager shouldn't just be 3-4-3. Yeah, exactly. 3-4-3 isn't a principle, it's a shape. The principles, again, the methods, the ideas, the intentions, that's what's key to management. That's what's key. Sir Alex Ferguson played all sorts of different shapes, right? But how we want to play football largely was similar, and it evolved as it went along. AJ, what's your top 3 dream targets for midfield by order? Oh, that's a tough one. That is difficult. It's a good question, my friend. It's difficult. Who's the manager? Who's the manager? If you know the score, you'll only have to watch it once and can get the video out sooner. But if we win 3-0 and Cunha gets his first goal, I don't get the excitement of the first goal because I know it's happened. That's where I'm torn. This is where I'm saying I got a toxic relationship with the football club. I have the option to avoid emotional attachment to this match. I want the emotional attachment. I want to be destroyed if we lose or happy if we win, rather than already knowing it. It's weird. Yeah, the top 3 for midfield. It does sort of depend on who the manager is, or, you know, have we got 3 midfielders? Have we got 2? It changes. It changes all of it. My view on the situation is to sign good footballers in midfield. Not a specialist 6 necessarily, not a specialist 10, not a specialist 8. Players that can play football. Players that are physically good and can look after themselves. Players that can pass, players that can carry and do everything to a pretty good standard. Elliot Anderson, Baleba, they're right up there, of course they are. I am still of the opinion that I want someone a bit more pass focused if possible. Is that Adam Wharton then? Maybe. It sort of depends on what happens moving forward. We've got Grace in the chat with a super chat. Grace, thank you very much. Saying, give me the United job and I'll play the 1-8-1 formation. Oh, Grace, first of all, thank you very much. I'm interested to hear who your 1 would be at the back. And how are you organising your 8? Is it a flat 8 across? Or is it an 8 in sort of like a diamond shape slowly closing into the centre? I'd love to hear it. I'd love to hear it. But thank you regardless for the super chat. Anderson apparently going to be in the England squad. Very well deserved. He was phenomenal for the under-21s in the summer. Good player, good player. Sign players that works for every system. Yeah, I don't know how to describe it. It's just proper midfielders. You know, if you look at Guimaraes and Tonali at Newcastle, and I think they're a team that we should be modelling ourselves on right now. We shouldn't be trying to build a title-winning team for next season. We should be trying to build a top 4 team, and then we'll take the next step. If you look at Newcastle, Tonali, Guimaraes, you know, they're not 6s. They're not 10s. You know, they're not individually amazing 90-yard ball carriers or even 90-yard passers. They're just proper midfielders who do most things to a pretty darn good standard. And I like that. Yeah, it'd have to be Yoro as the sole defender, wouldn't it? It would have to be. FP, good morning, my friend. How are you? FP, I would love to hear your interpretation of what you want from United this weekend in terms of lineup, in terms of approach. I'd love to hear it. So far, we're sticking to the poll and what we're voting for the 11, and this is how far we've got. I think we're happy with this midfield. I mean, I say happy. It's not happy, is it? It's not, but I think this is what we are content with for this week. It feels like a problem that we're doing that, but I don't think it's going to change. I think Amorim will stick with this idea. They can just play football to a high level. They're just good footballers, aren't they? They're just good footballers. Give me good footballers in midfield, please and thank you. Anyway, front 3 time. Benjamin Šeško started up front the other night. I don't think he's done too badly at all in his cameos for the club so far. Seemingly had cramp, though, which is apparently why he didn't take a penalty sooner in a shootout. I thought it was a little bit weird. Yeah, turns out he had cramp. Does that mean we protect him a little bit this weekend and give him a rest? Or not? If we do, we could go Chido-Obi up top, but it feels a little bit unlikely as he was left out the other night. Xerxes is an option. Cunha is an option. Mason Mount is absolutely an option. He's just good, isn't he? He even played left wing back the other day. Don't know why that happened, but he still done all right. And where is Brian? Here he is, Brian and Boomer. You could probably even put Cobby in the conversation for one of the 10s as well. How are we feeling? Must win, of course, FP. Says FP. FP, I was asking the question earlier. Is it too early in the season to be, like, result-orientated or not? Are we in, like, a niche situation, a unique? Are we an anomaly to the football world? You know, is it more important? Could we set up in, like, should we say, a pragmatic approach to the game and take a 1-0 win? Would that be better than playing an expansive style and losing 1-0? You know, are we at a stage already where we just need results? Or is the bigger picture more important this early? What I was saying is, like, in May, you need results, don't you? Doesn't matter how you get them, you need results. You need to get into the top 4, you need to win the trophy, whatever. Is that such a big thing earlier in the season? Not rhetorical, genuinely interested to hear people's thoughts. We've got some new people coming into the chat now. What's more important right now? You know, sure, we win 1-0, great. But if we don't improve as a football team, is it that big a deal? Don't know. Interested to hear what you think. Mount as a number 8 alongside Mainu and Bruno. And then Mount as an 8 alongside Cobby. And then Bruno and Bumo as 10s and Cunha up front. I would be tempted by Cunha up top. I would be tempted by that. I would be very tempted. Because it gets Mount in the team, and I think we should just try and get Mount in the team at the moment. The problem is, I feel sorry for Cunha, because it feels like we signed him for this zone, and we're not really using him there that much. But, you know, there would be a temptation to do something like this. Chat is looking real handsome right now. Oh, Steve, this chat is always looking real handsome. You know that. I want good performances. Results come from good performances eventually. Yeah, that's exactly what I mean. We could sort of go for, like, short base, let's just grind out results right now. Or should it be more about building performances to, like you say, in May, make sure we're still winning? Tricky. Reports suggesting Ineos backing Amorim, but he has to prove that he's earned that backing, and so far he hasn't. Yeah, I think that's fair. Steve, it's 2025, mate. We don't talk about Sancho left 10. We need results right now. That's what I mean. I think that's where there's such a 50-50. Such a 50-50. Burnley are a very physical side. Šeško will start. He clearly needed minutes. Yeah, it's a slightly tricky one to figure out quite how to do this front three, but it's good because we've got options, and we will have that discussion in just a moment. There's a message I want to read out. Where's it gone? Edwick, I saw your message and I've lost it. And I can't. Where's it gone? Hi, AJ. Hi, Edwick. Is the issue with the system if one of the midfielders are baited into a press, the centre-backs and second midfielder don't cover the space? Let's just quickly ditch these guys. Imagine this is the shape. I think the problem is there's just spaces. There's just big spaces everywhere. Because if we've got 5, right? Quick maths lesson. 5 is more than 4. You're welcome. But if we've got, you know, most teams would defend with 4 across the back, particularly in pressing moments, 4, sometimes even 3. If we're going 5, it just immediately means that numerically we have less players here than what we would if we were pressing with more. Now, if we've got less players, there's going to be more holes, right? And at the moment, the holes can be in 2 places. We can drop the inside forwards deep. We can go compact into the 5-4-1, like so. Less gaps. Apart from over here, where we are now incredibly isolated, and it's super easy for the opposition to move the ball forward, and they gain control. The other thing we can do is support that forward. We can push these 2 a little bit further forward, and now we're not so outnumbered. The problem is these 2 poor fellas in midfield now are, and they've got a lot of ground to cover, and particularly the spaces over here and over here. Again, opposition can get control, and this is the problem. It's a bit too easy to force United to be passive. The centre-back conversation, in terms of them jumping out, trying to help the midfield, I think it's just an incredibly hard job. I'm not particularly critical of the centre-backs here. Granted, they have games where I am. I think it's just a hard job. You know, if I'm Lenny Yoro, I'm a centre-back, right? I want to play at centre-back. I don't mind occasionally connecting to midfield, but I don't want to wander too far. If I'm, let's say, the opposition's winger or perhaps a 10 in this zone here, and Lenny Yoro is my man, I can drop here and I'm still in position. Yoro will probably follow me. But what about when I go here? Does Yoro still want to follow? This puts doubt in the centre-back's head. And we know the second you get doubt at this level, teams have the quality. But also, what if they start roaming across the pitch? What if they start roaming horizontally? You know, this guy, Cullen can't wander over here and Yoro follow him. Because it doesn't work, does it? It doesn't work for Yoro to go over there. It feels like we are constantly trying to make up for a numerical deficiency somewhere. It feels like we're constantly trying to make up for it. And we just end up in like a bit of a passive mess where the team move it forward really easily. And the daft thing is, people saying, you know, could we go 5-3-2, for example? I don't feel that we have to abandon this shape to achieve what we want to achieve in terms of more pressure. Let's just take Shaw out real quick. Let's go Yoro over here, and let's say Mazraoui is fit, or let's say Diogo Dalot could play that position. If we just, out of possession, default 3-4-3, right? Default 3-4-3. If we just swing the team around a little bit, bring Dorgu around, bring Yoro around, bring De Ligt around, bring Dalot around, bring Ahmad around, Mount around and the front two as well. It's just instantly, it just feels more compact. It doesn't feel like suddenly we're trying to make up for a hole somewhere constantly. The centre-back's jobs feel a little bit easier. It's sort of a your side job. It's a back four rather than a back five, which means we've probably got one a little bit higher. I just think in the current shape, mate, I just think we're too passive. I think it's too easy to put questions in our head. Something else that I've been talking about on Discord is... No, it was in a Twitter group chat, actually. We seem to have a real problem with passing players on, particularly from the wide centre-back to the wing-back. I did discuss this in Discord as well. I said it to Valza. I remember now. We seem to have a problem. You know, let's say Dorgu's marking Hannibal. Right, let's say he's on him. And then Hannibal drifts here. We seem incapable of Dorgu going, hey, Yoro, mate, do you fancy marking him and I can go a little bit higher? We don't do that. So both of them sort of end up on him. And again, it creates this big old gap here. You know, whereas in what we should be looking to do, particularly with some of the wide defenders that we've got in the back three, fullbacks, Yoro, whoever, I think that's when let's say Walker's got the ball here, right? Hannibal starts wide on Dorgu. As Hannibal makes that movement, can we not pass him on and be more aggressive? I think we struggle to do it. I think we get pinned. Pinned is the word I'd use, but like at times it's 3 players pinning us into a 5. And again, quick maths lessons, 5's more than 3. So if we've got more over here, then they're going to have more over here. And again, it just leads to us being passive. You know, this isn't even style of football or anything like that. This is a bit more system-based. I think we just often have too many defenders, which leaves us chasing things, and then we sort of overcompensate by chasing and then leave bigger holes, or we do the opposite. We drop off to try and be safe. Defensive instinct kicks in, and then we just give away control and territory and all those things. So, yeah. Again, it feels reactive. It feels like we're reacting to the opposition, and I'll keep saying it. Manchester United Football Club should be asking questions, not constantly having questions asked of them, particularly certain opposition that we do face. In my opinion. Anyway, I'm going to shut up. Front three. Who do we want? Realistically, I think Mbeumo and Cunha will be in there for most people. The question is, do you go Mount on the left, Cunha up top, or do you go Cunha to the left with Šeško into the front line? Be interesting to see if there's also an occasional shout or two for Xerxes. 4-4-2 AJ, Šeško and Cunha up top and Mount left mid. That sort of fits into what I was saying a second ago with how the shape could shift. Dorgu's position or Ahmad's determines if we have a back 4 or 5. Exactly, and that's where there is that inconsistency. I keep punching my mic today. It feels like instincts I think Amorim, you have these characters who are outgoing characters, outgoing people who will attack anything. Then you've got others who can be a little bit more defensive and stuff. For me, it feels like Amorim's sort of like default when he's a little bit stuck. He's a little bit unsure. He's not sure if he's got a team as good as the opposition. I'm not talking about Grimsby. But when he's not sure, he just seems to have that slightly cautious mindset, which sees him drop that extra defender in. That's just the impression I get. When I think other managers might be aggressive and push a wing back forward, I think Amorim is one who drops one back. And no, I don't want to say this, but I don't know if that's a United manager characteristic. I don't like that sort of talk. But again, this week I'm just giving you guys my thoughts on everything that's on my head, on my mind about United right now. And that is something that is there. There is something that is there. I hope a miracle will happen. Yeah, it'd be nice. I don't care if we don't finish 7th or 8th, as long as we can do improvements, because this is embarrassing for a big club to be crumbling. In game week 3. We haven't even hit game week 3 of the Premier League yet. It's crazy. To be fair, he stuck Maguire up front in the semi-final. Maybe we should just do it from the start, eh? Maybe we should just do it. Anyway, let's do a quick poll. What should I call it? I'm just going to put the word forward because I don't know what else to call it. Mount or Shesko, because I think everyone else will agree on the other two. I think people will want Cunha and Mbumo. Rightly so. They cost a lot of money and they're good forwards. Great to see Mbumo get his first goal the other night. We got another super chat from Captain. Captain, thank you very much, my friend, saying, what I can't understand is Amorim's lack of flexibility. 3-4-3, 3-4-2-1 doesn't need change, but what can change is how the system works within their formation. We are just too rigid. Guys, I am tempted to leave, stop the channel, and give it to Captain. Because he is just... He's got a nail here, right? And he's just walloped it on the head. Spot on, my friend. Spot on. I'm not of the opinion that, 3-4-3s cannot work ever. I'm not of that opinion. It's how you work within it. It's the how more than the what. I think is what I would say. I completely agree with you. Completely agree with you. And also, thank you very much for the super chat, my friend. Do you want to run the channel? Do you want to make content? I agree United should be about handbrakes off, attack. Just challenge the opposition rather than being challenged. Grimsby shouldn't, not in an arrogant way, but Grimsby shouldn't even feel that they can come and attack us the way they did the other night. They shouldn't feel that they can come and press us because they should be terrified of us. But they just weren't. That fear is gone because United don't ask questions anymore. We don't ask questions. It's a problem. Mourinho needs to come and help Amorim be more cool and flexible. We need something, don't we? No use of talking here. We will see what happens. Just be patient. Nothing lasts forever. So just let Amorim do what he wants. I am also... First of all, I think it's worth talking. It's fun to have the conversation. We all like football. So I think it's worth, discussing what we think. Having said that, my opinion always in football and in life is it's never quite as good as you think it is, unfortunately. But it's also never as bad as you think it is. I don't think you're ever as far away from fixing things as what you think you are. Right now, Manchester United seems some absolute mess that could never, ever be good at football. But really, I don't think we're that far away from being able to compete. I've said a few times, I think we've got a good squad. Lacking a little bit of balance. Please sign a midfielder. But I think we've got a good squad, so I don't think we are as far away as what people might think. Even Xabi Alonso made changes. Yeah, change things, adapt things. I need these yaps for my mental health. Exactly. All we can do as fans is just hope that Amorim and the lads can fix the mess. Pretty much. And if Amorim and the lads can't fix the mess, then new manager and the lads can fix the mess. And if the new lad and the players can't fix the mess, then the next one and the players can fix the mess. All with the board as well. Find a way of fixing it, please, guys. Please and thank you. Burnley will win comfortably. United are the weakest team in the league. We said it after Grimsby, right? Sorry, we said it before Grimsby. We said it in the stream before Grimsby. We're like, can you imagine? You know, United can't lose this game against Grimsby. It's not possible. But can you imagine if we did? God, the internet would be frightening. Well, it happened, and the internet was quite scary. I did enjoy sitting in a Discord server, which, by the way, if you want to check out, is linked at the top of the chat. David, thank you very much for that. Can you imagine we lose this one? Because we then go in. I don't mean to be pessimistic and talk about, oh, what if we lose, right? But hypothetically, let's just talk about it for a moment. Can you imagine if we lose, and then we've got a 2-week international break off the back of a good performance, to be fair, but a loss against Arsenal, a bad performance and a draw with Fulham, a terrible performance and a loss to Grimsby. If we then go and lose to Burnley as well, regardless of performance, it's going to be a long 2 weeks. That international break is going to be the longest 2 weeks on social media in a while. It's not going to be nice. It's not going to be nice. He could still be flexible with the back three. 100%. 100%. The Discord is fun. We had a very analytical head loss. I would say that, yeah, someone said it'll be super toxic. I think the internet will be. If you guys want, I call it my safe place. The Discord server, and I'm not just saying it because I made the server or whatever, but because we've got such a good community, you know, because you guys are so good, we have head loss. Of course we do when Manchester United lose to Grimsby. I'm not going to lie to you. We do have a bit of head loss. But it is, like, measured. We don't just get angry and shout and swear at everything. And, like I said, in videos, we don't go red in the face. We have measured conversations about it. So, like, we're rattled and we're angry. But also we approach it in, like, a cool, calm, collected way at the same time. Like, it's intelligent with head loss. It's measured with a bit of anger. It's a nice balance in a Discord. I do agree. So check out the server. It's free to join. There's a link in the chat. There's over 700 people. And like I said, generally speaking, it's very chilled. It's very chilled. The mods are pretty handsome as well, as I've said there. Chad, I don't know what the eyes are for. Yeah, it's measured. It's measured. Yeah, Manu will lose his head sometimes. And we'll keep him in check. But Manu also has measured takes during head loss as well. It's good. It's a good place to be. Anyway. I think we've got an 11 here. Seshko has won the poll pretty comfortably. 82% of votes. I just realised I promoted the Discord and remembered what the last conversation was in there last night. So people are going to get an interesting first impression. Avoid United transfer news. Manchester United, score predictions. Score predictions. What do we reckon? We ended up with a slightly different team to what I've got on screen here. We had Tom Heaton in goal and Šeško instead of Mason Mount. But apart from that, you guys ended up with a pretty similar 11 to what I predicted before the stream started. Now it's time for scorelines. Scorelines. England squad has been announced. Well, I will be on the Discord right after this having a look. I will be having a look because I love it. And also, let me just reply to a message real quick, because there is something important going on. Yeah, I do apologise, by the way. I said this the other day on the YouTube community post. There's a lot going on in my life right now, which is why the content has been a little bit inconsistent. I do apologise for that. Getting through things, but that is why certain things have been less consistent than usual, coupled with the fact that, like, on a day like today, what content do you do about United? What video do people want to see? I don't really know. Anyway, let's look at some score predictions in the chat. 6-0 or nouts. 1-1, 3-0, 0-0, 1-1, or we lose 1-0. 4-0. 6-1 to Burnley. Šeško should start. Yeah, that is what we ended up with. That's what you guys voted for. Let me actually just end that poll real quick, but thank you very much for voting. Steve says 1-0 with the Harry Maguire winner. Is that another centre-back sub I see there, Steve? Drop Ahmad, start and boom, my right wing-back or right mid. AJ has been directly supporting Amorim. It's taking a lot of his time. Steve, don't you associate me with this football club. How dare you associate me with what's going on right now? Hang on, I need to reply to another message. I do apologise for this. Clean sheet should be a clean sheet. You'd like to think so, but we've been surprised before. 5-1 for Burnley. All 3 goalkeepers get minutes. 3-1 Burnley, says Corey. Okay. I see the vibe. But let me give you my prediction. Ever the optimist. United are going to win this football match, of course. But I don't think it's going to be a clean sheet. I'm going to go 3-1 Manchester United at Old Trafford. The goals. The goals. Who do the goals come from? That's what you guys want to know. Well, let me tell you. The goals are coming from Brian Mbeumo again. He's off now. Goals are going to come rolling in. Love it for you, Brian. De Ligt from a corner. And Bruno Fernandes penalty. That's right. 3 penalties in the space of a week. This one's in the net. Bish, bash, bosh. Steve, you got to stop saying this, mate. It's literally my mum messaging me. So you got to stop saying that. A Euro 50-yard screamer. Yes, please. I always love a Lenny Euro goal. He should be given that one from last weekend, if you ask me, even though it's never going in a million years. Realistically, if we score, it's most likely going to be a Baz header, the best penalty taker of all time, and the most inevitable man at the back post on a set piece. Love him. Do you ever think Ruben Amorim will change his formation? No. Amorim announcing a new defender before the game. He is apparently called Ruben. Get him in. Chad and Steve, I swear to God, Brian. I'll see you in the mod chat. Oh yeah, I'll see you there. Then we'll see who's talking, alright? Callum says 2-0 with goals from Yoro and Cunha. That would be very nice. I would like Cunha to get his first goal. It feels like he needs it. Not needs it, but I feel like he's earned it almost with some of his performances. Probably not quite as good the other night, but he still looked like the player who wanted to make something happen. Something I said to Callum was, you can tell Cunha wants to win football matches. And it sounds daft, it sounds obvious, because all players should. But do you remember the Europa League final? You may have deleted it from your memory. But we almost went through that game, and the whole game in the Europa League final, it was like, did anyone actually want to win that? Did any United player ever want to grab that game? Cunha, even against Grimsby the other night, you can just tell that he wants to grab the ball and he wants to do stuff. If he's not winning, he wants to make a difference. And I like that. We're going to have to find a blend and a balance with it at some point so he doesn't become too main character sort of thing. But I like that he just wants to grab the ball, make stuff happen and lift his team. I think that's a good trait to have. I think he'll be okay after the penalty miss. I don't think he's the sort of player that will affect too much. And I wouldn't have thought Mbeumo either. So I'm not too fussed. We've got the Burnley head-to-head record in the chat from FP. We've played 137 with 167, drawn 25, lost 45, a 48.91%. I wonder the last time we could have gone through that, and it's actually a positive record recently. It always seemed to be bad. The weather at Grimsby was not for a Brazilian. Yawn? Valid. I have Burnley defenders in my FPL teams. Well, no offence, I hope you have a horrendous FPL weekend. Speaking of horrendous FPL weekends, last week I got like 28 points or something. That's bad. I'm normally not too bad at it, but I was bad. Onana with a 70-yard laser into the top corner. Can we please just confirm whose goal we are talking about here? I would like clarification there. I've stripped Bruno of captaincy in FPL. Not a bad shout. I had Palmer, Bruno, and Wirtz in my team last week. What's that? Well over 20 mil, and they got like 4 points collectively or something. Obviously, Palmer injured, but hey ho. Anyway, we're going to wrap the stream up there, my friends. I feel like we've spoken about everything that we want to speak about. There is a chance the next stream will be on Monday, depending on what happens with United this weekend. We might need a therapy stream. In terms of streams after that, I'm away next week, Tuesday through to Friday. Obviously, Tuesday and Friday are normally our streaming times. I'm going to try and stream before I leave on Tuesday. And I also want to get ahead on content so you guys almost don't notice that I'm not here. Odds we sack the manager the day I go away? High. Seems to happen. You know, we bid for Brian Mbeumo the day I last went away. So, yeah. hopefully I'll be streaming next Tuesday. Hopefully I won't be streaming on Monday, because hopefully we won't need a therapy session, but we shall see. But like I've said, the video for this particular match will be Sunday morning, first thing, rather than Saturday, because I'm not going to be able to watch it live unless the weather ruins my current plans. So, yeah, simple as that, really. I think that's everything. Hopefully United can get a win at this weekend. Thank you guys, as always, for the support on the channel with the likes, subscriptions, super chats, memberships, all of that stuff. But also the support and the community we continue to build with the measured takes. We're all clearly very passionate, but we don't get ranty, we don't get shouty, we don't get red in the face. We just sit here and have a good time through the hard times. So I appreciate you guys for that. If you want to continue chatting, head over to the Discord server. I'm going to go take a look at the England squad, and I'll probably drop a couple of my thoughts, particularly if I don't like it or do like it. Yeah. Hope you guys have a great weekend. Hopefully United don't ruin it this time. Hopefully. Please, don't ruin the weekend this time. That'd be lovely. I shall see you guys video soon. Stream, hopefully soon as well. Yep. Bye.